Well, moving into our second story of the day. This one is wild, folks, and this is making airwaves. Florida student accused of attacking teacher's aide who took Nintendo Switch will be charged as an adult. I love the fact that they put Florida student accused of attacking teacher. You guys, we have it on tape. We literally have it on tape here. And I might have to blur some of this. This video actually might be taken down. I got to be careful. But this comes from Fox News. It was released here. Allegedly, right? It just may or may not have happened. You guys tell me if this happened or not. This teacher gets attacked and knocked out. And I got to like blur some of this because it's just rough. But stomping on her, for those that are listening on the podcast, taking 10 body shots here, and then he'll start pounding her in the head as she's knocked out. Just wailing on her. This guy's like 270, like 6'7" or something like that. Basically like a linebacker in the NFL. Now he's stomping her. He was thrown on the ground, and it looks like you have a Marine right there, probably visiting the school, doing some sort of recruitment. And the teachers are trying to pull him off. He pulls off for a little bit. He jumps back on him, and now he's finally subdued, and now he's laying on his back. Oh God, something happened here. It's so baffling. And I like to point out, this happens all the time in the education system. This happens all the time. You guys might be baffled me going, what? No. Happens on a weekly basis across the United States. Teachers being attacked, assaulted, verbally abused all the time in public school system. So the Florida student was accused of violently attacking a high school teacher's aide and will be charged as an adult because he's 17 and being held on a $1 million bond. I mean, the lawsuit that has to happen here is going to be astronomical for this teacher. Officials say the physical altercation began a 17-year-old student and teacher's aide happened on February 21st when the teacher's aide took away the student's Nintendo Switch during class time. Why does he have a Nintendo Switch in class? Again, it's the same thing with the cell phones. Some people go, oh, well, this is his Nintendo Switch. It might be his entire worldview. This kind of comes from Brandon Tatum, who I'm a big fan of. Me and him have actually done an Instagram live before talking about the scriptures. I love Brandon Tatum, but look, you could say, look, he's in a group home. He didn't grow up with a father. This might be his entire worldview, having this one item, and you just took it away from him. Why does he have a Nintendo Switch in the classroom? You could say the same thing about any object, a cell phone, a piece of clothing, right? There's certain clothing that people are attached to. Maybe they got it passed down from a family member. There's certain things as you don't need it in class. You need a pen, pencil, paper, iPad, laptop, whatever the school provides to get your work done. You don't need a Nintendo Switch during class time. And by the way, there's teachers that get assaulted for taking people's cell phones away because that's a massive problem in the classroom. But we can never talk about that because it's always the teacher's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. It's the school's fault. We can't take people's cell phones away because they'll start hyperventilating. I am not kidding. I have friends that are teachers. Obviously, I'm a teacher myself. I have taken a cell phone away and I've had people literally start hyperventilating in front of me, break down, screaming and crying. These are seniors in high school, you guys. These are 17 and 18-year-olds hysterically crying like you would see from progressive leftists as if Donald Trump just won the election, crying because they can't have their cell phone in their hand or a few feet away from them. It's crazy. And this all starts in the home, by the way. This isn't something that I'm not your parent. I'm not the dad. I'm just the guy that's trying to teach mathematics. But you got Nintendo Switches, cell phones, all this stuff going on in the classroom. The student became upset at the teacher aide after she took away, again, his Nintendo Switch during class. According to WESH TV, the teenager is considered a special needs student. And I just want to point out, special needs doesn't necessarily mean so much cognitive. You could be having low grades, or maybe you're technically a student that has a lot of discipline issues, and they kind of threw you into that category of special needs student. But regardless, it doesn't give you a right to sit there and actually harm a teacher like this. Surveillance video released by the school shows the 6'6", 270-pound student running up to the teacher's aide, pushing her to the ground, and then continue to punch her, which we saw. The student is seen on a surveillance video punching the employee and doing all these other things. Sheriff Rick Stalley said the teacher could have been killed. Yeah. You guys, 6'6", 270? The kid would beat me up. I'm about 5'10", 185. That's a massive dude just raining blows on you. Luckily, most of those beginning blows were to the body at least. But then as you saw, shifted to the head. Like I said, I mean, the lawsuit here has to be in the millions for this teacher. Because what I'm expecting to happen is, or had happened, this isn't the first encounter. Usually with students, you can actually trace back all their discipline that they've ever had, going back to like middle school or sometimes even elementary school. And so if this had been going on, if the teacher actually warned the administration multiple times the student is dangerous and they never acted upon it, boy, oh boy, That teacher is going to be raking in the dough on this one. This could have been a homicide, Staley said. When you push down like that, they hit their head. You never know the outcome. Yeah, I mean, you could sit there and hit something and blow out your trachea. You could have a blood clot in the brain. I mean, there is so much that can go on with this. So when this kid was arrested by police, body cam footage showed the student saying F you to one of the deputies before he was arrested. Cool. I don't want to go to jail. Well, you should have thought about that before you decided to knock out a teacher, rain blows on them, and then continue to rain blows on them, even though there's a bunch of teachers around you trying to pull you off. I can't emphasize this enough. This happens all the time. Maybe not teachers getting knocked out, teachers being pushed. Verbally harassed is definitely number one. That happens in almost every classroom, or the vast majority of classrooms all across the United States. And by the way, there's a lot of parents going, oh, good, that's fine. Oh, yeah, this should be verbally harassed. The amount of people I've talked to that think that stuff like this is funny is mind-blowing. Students nowadays will film this stuff. We've done that on the Bald Brad Show. They will sit there. They won't assist a teacher that's literally knocked out, getting beaten, blows to the head. They're more likely to film it and laugh about it than they are to actually help somebody. It's such a crazy time we live in. An arrest report states that the arrested student said that he will beat her up every time she takes away his game, according to Fox 35, referring to the teacher's aide. The aide was taken to a local hospital where she was released and is believed to have broken ribs and significant bruising. Well, I believe she'll be out of work for at least several weeks if she plans on returning. I don't think she planned on returning, folks. She ain't ever going to have to work again, let me tell you. Let me tell you. The actions of the student are absolutely horrendous and completely uncalled for, Staley said. We hope the victim will be able to recover both mentally and physically from this incident. Thankfully, students and staff members came to the victim's aid before the SRDs could arrive. Our school should be a safe place, both employees and students. What I tend to see is the students are always given priority over the employee, which always baffled me because the student's going to be in high school for about 4 years. The employee would love to be there for their entire time, 30 plus years. But it's time and time again where students, they commit some sort of behavioral problem and nothing comes to fruition. They're just dropped back in the classroom and leave it up to the teacher to deal with when the teacher was just harassed verbally. And the reason why I always think that's crazy is because you go into any other place of business, which a school is, by the way, for that employee. It's a place of business. They are a teacher. That is their career, but it also is their job. You have another coworker talk to you in the same manner that students talk to their teachers, there'd be so many HR violations, it'd make your head spin. And somehow we just allow that to happen in school. It's okay for a teenager to sit there and curse out a teacher. 100% okay. I don't think it's okay for a teacher to curse out a student. I think the teacher should be written up or fired for it. But when we hold a teenager to that same standard, we can't do that because they're teenagers. They're just kids. They're just kids. They're just supposed to act like that. I've heard of teachers being shot. That happened most recently. Literally, a teacher was shot in the face. Shot in the body as well. That's happened multiple times across the United States. Stabbed. This happens every year, by the way. Verbally abused, punched, kicked, broken leg, which is the one we just covered last week. This is always happening. We literally talked about, I think it was Prince County last year. It was last year, March, I believe. We talked about it because it was the first 3 months of the school year. Had like hundreds of arrests in one county in the school year. So you have students getting arrested left and right. But, hey, nothing should happen to this. So luckily, this broke waves and went like mega news here because this is from Fox News and other outlets are covering it going, what's going on? What probably would have happened here if this never hit national airwaves, student would be back in the classroom in like 2 weeks. Probably a week suspension. Maybe juvenile detention would have been involved. Maybe. But I could see this kid coming back at that school probably with the same teacher. You might be baffled, but I'm not baffled because it happens all the time. Schools are being destroyed because we don't hold students to a certain standard, nor really teachers as well. And you're just seeing a massive destruction of our education system, the dumpster fire that it is. And I'm curious to what you guys think about this because you might be going, well, I'm glad that student, is being charged with a felony, which is a good thing. But at the same time, how do we stop this from never occurring in the first place? And what you're really seeing in the classroom is there's a lot of bad kids and a lot of good kids. Those bad kids, if they have a lot of discipline, should be removed from the classroom. They should not be in there with the general population whatsoever. And if they don't want to get their ish in line, then you forfeit a certain education that you can get at that public school. That's what adult school is for. You can go there. But I don't think it's fair that you have good kids that want to get a good education, but yet we have bad kids in the same classroom that are disrupting the classroom constantly, attacking teachers, verbally abusing them, and treating them in the wrong way, inculcating certain values into the good kids and thinking that it's acceptable to talk to teachers like that. So now the good kids are starting to do it, and you have a crumbling effect. Whereas if you remove the bad kids from the classroom, showing students that, look, We're not messing around as administration. You want to sit there and mess around. If you want to talk to an employee like that, you can go ahead and talk to the employee at home, or you can get an education else somewhere. But we can't do that again because they're just teenagers. We have no standards for these kids anymore. And people think I'm kidding when I say that. I'm not coming from an educational background, you guys. I've only been in teaching for 3 or 4 years. I'm coming from a decade of public accounting. So when I came into the classroom from when I was in high school, it is drastically different. If you had an opportunity to be a fly on the wall, I'm telling you right now, your head would spin if you saw our public education system. And I've been in both, by the way. So how do we fix all this? You need religion back in school. I've worked in the private sector in education. I've seen what religion in school does to kids and the morality that it builds. I'm not saying the kids are perfect, but the discipline issues that you have in a private school compared to public school are vastly different. Granted, you can easily kick out a kid in public school as well, really quickly compared to public school. But public school needs to be treated as if it is a private school, and you're not guaranteed an education just because you show up. There needs to be consequences, and what you're seeing from this education system is the consequences are going downhill. There are districts that aren't even doing detentions anymore. You actually, if a kid did something to a teacher, there actually is no discipline. And people are like, oh, well, that seems a little far-fetched. No, you can Google it yourself and actually look it up. There are districts that are doing away with any detentions whatsoever for any sort of discipline whatsoever. They're not suspending kids anymore. There's no on-campus suspension. There's no detentions. And that's why our school system's crumbling, because you can't hold anybody accountable because the Democrats are running the show in the education system. And once you hold somebody accountable, well, now you're harming them. Now you're hurting their feelings. Now you're doing this or that. There was literally an article that came out, talked about how students on campuses now have to report microaggressions. That somebody might have hurt them, might have hurt their feelings. No, I'm not kidding. Now it's all about the feelings. So if you said, hey, you know what, you got 35 problems of homework tonight, all of a sudden you hurt their feelings. Now they're mentally distressed. Now you might be in trouble as a faculty member. So that's where we're going. That's where the education system is heading. And you can look to London for that kind of happening right now. If you have any sort of disparity in your grading between races, you have the option of being fired. That's from the United Kingdom, and that will flow over here in the United States as well. And we're already seeing the ramifications of that happening in some places around the United States. If you want a good book to read about that a little bit, it's called The Vanishing American Adult by Ben Sasse. He used to be the senator of Nebraska. I believe he's now the president of the University of Florida, the Gators. I think the Gators is the University of Florida. Somebody will correct me in the comment section. But anywho, enough of me rambling, folks. If you haven't already checked out baldbrad.com. We got merchandise. Also, check out the join tab on our YouTube channel. You can join our membership for $4.99 a month if you would like. Don't feel like you have to, folks. It's just there because people have emailed me. They want to join. They want to sit there and support the show any means possible. And we also have a $9.99 option. It's just an opportunity for you basically to donate every month. You get a badge and you can kind of rank it up over time and stuff like that. But that is there. Check that out. Again, it's the Join tab. If you go to the Bald Brad Show YouTube page, you will see it. I believe it's next to the subscribe, but it's called Join. And we would love for you to join and support the show monetary-wise, or heck, just you watching and hanging out with us. I love you guys. And again, head over to baldbrad.com. Check out our new book that we're releasing March 13th. It's called Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. It's about basically destroying the narrative of the progressive left and Democrat Party, which is the narrative that's going to destroy this country from the inside out. And so we got to equip ourselves with the means and the wisdom to fight that narrative that they're trying to push so we can keep and make America great again, folks. So pre-order that. Again, it launches March 13th. If you go to our website, you will see a title banner up at the top called book. You could pre-order that now. Heck, you could buy the ebook now. The ebook's actually out. You can read that right now as I'm talking. You can purchase it. You'll be able to get it at Barnes & Noble's, Amazon. All the major distributors will have it starting March 13th. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.